Thank you, everyone. So I do have a lot to say. I am very, very grateful in the sense of that a lot of foundation have been laid. So I can just skip over a lot of things because it's already been said. So thank you so much. So yes, just a short introduction, statistics, what is happening through a generation, how the rewiring of a child's brain is happening, 4 fundamental dangers, and then at the end of the day, I would try to give you a solution or some pointers what to do, because a lot of you will say from the start, listen, you don't have to convince me, I'm convinced already. I see it in my own life, I see it in the children, just give me the solution of this problem. All right, but I want to start just with a short video to show you where we used to spend our time and where we are today. Thank you so much. All right, so we can see something have happened through the ages. So I started in 2009 with this research. The research questions were, can you be addicted to a phone? Can you be addicted to a screen? Is there actually something like a gaming addiction or a technology addiction? Where fast forward where we are today is that this is scientifically proven. So the question now is not can we be addicted to our screens, the question now is how do we manage this? So research has been done for the last 10 years, so everywhere, throughout the world, first world countries, it has really been proven. Sadly, in South Africa, we do have a massive problem. So they did research out of 35 countries worldwide to see where South Africa is with regards to screen time. So they reckon that South Africa is the most internet addicted country in the world, with an average screen time of about 10 hours, 46 minutes a day. The average teenager is online roughly about 9 hours a day, and it is actually, it's getting worse and worse. So they reckon that about 48% of teenagers is online nearly constantly, meaning they are waking up with the phone, getting dressed, eating, going to school, doing everything with the phone in their hand, and about 40% of children under the age of 2 already have their own phones. So science is now showing, like I said, what you are probably know already, but how did we get there? So millennials, Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, you will see where you fall in. So Gen X, for the most of us, when I have to ask you, what did you growing up as a child? Every single one of you will say to me, we played. When I ask you, what did you do during a school holiday, you would say that you play. And that's why I'm so grateful, for the esteemed speakers before me, how they were so amazingly in telling you about how to handle crises, how to do problem solving, how to build resilience, how to have emotional intelligence. So you are born with an IQ, but your EQ is something that you have learned. But let me tell you something. Everything that you know today as an adult, you've learned while playing. You have learned how to share while you were playing. You've learned how to wait your turn while playing. You've learned how to manage a problem or how to handle a crisis while you were playing. But what is happening to children today? And this is probably my biggest thing that I am screaming from the rooftops, is that children are not playing anymore. And when children are playing, you get these helicopter moms who is hovering over the children. Oh, don't jump off that bridge. Don't dive in that swimming pool. Don't climb on that tree. Don't run down that hill. And now you are hovering and overprotecting your child in the real world. And if I have to ask you, for example, how does your house look like? How are you protecting and how are you keeping your family safe? You will tell me about the alarm systems and the burglar bars and the estate and the gates. And you will tell me how you have built your life to keep yourself and your family safe. And then you will bring the children indoor and you will put them in front of a screen and you do not protect them on the screen at all. And how does that make sense? And I talk to a lot of children, and when I ask children who thinks it's more dangerous on a virtual world online than in the real world, almost every child will tell me it's more dangerous in the virtual world than it is online. How is it that a child knows that, but you don't know it? And what is very, very interesting is that now in May, on the 16th of May, Canada is having a massive, massive court case where they are now putting into legislation where they say that you as a parent have an obligation to parent a child's digital world. And if a child is getting harmed online and you as a parent did not manage a child's digital world, they will say it's negligence on the parent's part. And my question to you is, do you know what your child is doing online? What apps do they have? How many hours? Who are they talking to online? And I know for a lot of you, this is how you grew up. Now all of a sudden, your child is telling you something different and you are unsure. How many parents have I worked with that I say to the dad or the mom, take the phone. And can I? Yes, you can. Because legally, it's your phone. A person has to be 18 years old to be regarded as an adult. And only as an adult, you can sign a contract. So you signed the contract for the phone. You are paying the Vodacom or the Cell C or the whatever. You are buying the data. You are paying for the Wi-Fi. So actually, it is your phone, and the child has the privilege of using what is yours. That's why you can just as easily invoke that privilege and say, I am taking your device. But children are very, very, very clever in manipulating us to the point where we are now the obedient parents. So we have talked about children's obedience and how we get the children obedient, but are you the obedient mom? Is the child saying and you are agreeing? Because that is what I see in the counseling room. When I say, take the device, switch off the routers, no, my boy will be very angry if I take the Xbox. Take the Xbox and let him be angry. Let him self-soothe. If you haven't learned that, then it's maybe good time. All right, so the millennials, born 1981 to 1994, what I love about the millennials is that the millennials have a BC life. You have a before computers life. So for a lot of the millennials, you can remember the first time you got a phone. Most of you will probably be like 20 somewhere. You remember the Nokia phone. You remember the ringtone. Can you remember that your first cell phone did not have access to the internet? You SMS'd. You press the number, I think 5, like 7 times just to get the letter S. That's where we got the LOL and BRB, and because it took so long to type. And you did have games on your phone. You played Snake. Can you remember? But what is amazing about the millennials is that we as a generation use technology what it was initially intended for. The emails and the communication and the GPS navigation. And then we get to the Gen Zs, and something profoundly happened to the Gen Zs. So in the year 2000, high-speed broadband came out. 2007, the iPhone came out and social media. 2009, the likes, the shares, and the retweet buttons came out. And this happened when Facebook bought over Instagram. And with that, it changed the life online for the average teenager profoundly. 2010, again, is also marked in the era of technology because in 2010, the iPhone 4 came out. And what made the iPhone 4 so profoundly different than any other phone is that the iPhone 4 had the front-facing camera. And with the front-facing camera, it changed also identity for the average teenager. Because the front-facing camera, all of a sudden, we see ourselves. And all of a sudden, the obsession became about what does other people say about me? And you build your identity on comments and likes and shares. And the sad part is, it is complete strangers who you are performing for. And where we see now that the suicide rate has tripled. Eating disorders have doubled. And I'm going to show you now how mental health of children has been affected profoundly to the point where the Gen Z now is a generation that they say it is the most anxious generation in the history of mankind. Because when these children were supposed to play outside, and learn the resilience, and learn the problem-solving skills, and learn how to act in a certain way, how to behave socially. They were on social media, and interacting with a screen literally changed their personality, it changed their identity, it changed the function and the shape of the brain profoundly. To the point, actually, where researchers is saying that Gen Z as a generation is a write-off. There will be no world leaders. There will be no inventors. There will be no new technologies coming from this generation. And the sad part is my own 2 girls are falling in this category. To the point where they are saying that we did the biggest experiment in the history of mankind on this group, where we flooded them with technology, we flooded them with social media, we opened up the gates and we said, let's see what will happen. And now in 2025, we are seeing what is happening. So the biggest drive of this generation is to gain acceptance from the peers. And their biggest fear is to avoid online shaming. They got sucked into spending many hours of each day scrolling. They watched increased quantities of user-generated videos and streamed entertainment fed to them by algorithms that were designed to keep them there as long as possible. And when you go into the understanding of algorithms, you will see a guy like Jason Lanier. Now, Jason Lanier was one of the first smart people who worked for Google, who is one of the first guys who understand algorithms, and he is now one of the biggest whistleblowers in the world, where he is saying, listen, parents, I must tell you, what did they do with this technology? They had massive departments of psychologists where they studied human behavior. They went to places like Las Vegas and they studied how do people and why do people get addicted to slot machines. And they built in the same coding that is in a slot machine, they've built into these technologies, saying that we have designed addiction. And the problem with these algorithms that it is targeted at children. Targeted to get the eyeballs on these apps as long as possible. Because the app that gets your eyeball the longest is the app that will make the most money. And the thing with a child, their brain is still developing. The prefrontal cortex, where the decision making is supposed to be, is not fully developed. That's why you as a parent have to say no. That's why you as a parent have to understand how these technologies is designed and built to hijack your child's brain, to hijack a child's identity, emotions, emotional resilience. Everything that you've learned today is amazing. But can I tell you, a child who is growing up in front of a screen will have nothing of these things that you've learned. Nothing scientifically proven. So we have to see what's going on. 2010 is now what actually they are calling them the iPad kids. It's supposed to be the Generation Alpha. Why they call it now the iPad kids? Your Generation Alpha children is your children 13 years and younger. It is the first generation in the history of mankind that have a screen as a babysitter. When you give a child a screen, you are making that child invisible. It's true. When you put your child in front of a screen and you are a single mom, you can cook quickly, clean quickly. Because you know exactly where that child is. You know exactly what that child will be doing. And you have freedom just to do whatever you need to do because maybe you are a full-time mom. Working full-time and a single mom. But can I tell you something? When you are making your child invisible, putting that child in front of a screen, you are making that child visible to every sex predator and pedophile out there. When you give your child a phone, you do not give your child access to the world. You give the world access to your child. What are your child exposed to? Who can guess? You can shout if you know. What is the average age of a child being exposed to porn? Guess. 6. The average age, if your child have access to a phone, the average age of a child being exposed is 6 years old. That means that if you are giving your child a phone, that you have to have the conversation about pornography. And if you say, listen, I'm not ready to talk to my child about sex, guess what? Then your child is not ready to have a phone. They did a study in South Africa with 3,000 children as well, from the age of 9 to 16, just to say, here in our country, what is the rate of exposure to these 3,000 children? 100% of these children between the age of 9 and 16 were exposed to porn. But did you have the conversation with your child when you handed the child the phone? Did you have the conversation about online bullying and pedophiles and predators? So, does your child know that when I am in trouble? Because it's not if, it is when. When your child gets exposed to pornography, when your child is targeted by a pedophile, when your child sees something online, does this child know, listen, I can come to my mom? Or did you just hand this child a phone? So I'm going to skip this video. It's a 15-minute video. Not that I wanted to show you the whole 15 minutes, but I want you to go and research this video. Find it on Google. And this 15-minute video tells about what they call the dark future of the iPad kids. And it speaks about data. Data, data, data. So again, when you get the question, but can it be? Can a child get seriously brain damaged? Can a child's identity be misformed? Can these things happen? It's not can anymore. It is if or when. And this is something I work with because I work in the counseling room a lot. Like 50% of my time is in the counseling room, where I see children, 6 years old, 7 years old, they cannot hold a pen properly. Because if they didn't play outside, they didn't hold things, hang on things, didn't play with clay, that the fine motor skills in their hands and the muscles in their hands didn't develop properly. I see children with a posture like this. So they cannot sit on a chair up straight because, again, of not playing, not running, not tumbling, not climbing, not rolling, that the muscles and the skeleton did not develop properly. I see children who cannot spell, who cannot read, who have zero memory because on a phone, especially on gaming, and if it's like a shooter game, it's action, reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction. Hit, 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 hit. Now this child comes in the classroom and the teacher say, "Good morning everyone, sit down. Please take out your English reading book, open on page 10, we're going to read paragraph 2. Child gone. Task sequencing gone. You know what I see in schools? I see a huge, huge burnout of teachers. Massively burned out. Because the child that they have to teach today and the child that I had to teach 10 years ago is not the same. I speak to medical doctors, where medical doctors will say to me, "Listen, I am prescribing Ritalin and Concerta and mood stabilizers like this because you know what? That the symptoms of ADHD and the symptoms of excessive screen time looks exactly the same." So now your teacher is saying, "Listen, your child cannot concentrate anymore. Your child is disruptive in class. Your child cannot do a simple task. Your child is attention deficit." Then you run to the medical doctor. "Oh, I had a primary school teacher. She is saying on a grand scale, listen, your child is on the spectrum. Got autism." You know that autism spectrum disorder, the symptoms of children being on having autism and the symptoms of a child with excessive screen time looks the same. Now they say to you, "Listen, your child is on the spectrum." Your child is not necessarily on the spectrum because you can diagnose a child on the spectrum from the age of 2. If at 9 someone is saying, "Listen, your child is autistic," maybe your child is just addicted to your screen. So now we see half of a class on Ritalin or Concerta. Half of the teenage daughters on antidepressants or anxiety medication on sleeping tablets. It's so simple. It's so easy. What is your child's exposure to a screen? And everything is affected by excessive screen time. So I'm going to skip this. So what are we seeing today? A strong decline in mental health. And I've said this because children have shifted from a play-based childhood to a screen-based childhood. And we have overprotected our children in the real world and underprotected them in the digital world. And now these children are withdrawn socially. You know that one of the major ways in which children have learned, and each and every one of the speakers have talked about of modeling. How does modeling work? Modeling works by mirror neurons. So we all have mirror neurons. What is a mirror neuron? So we see what you are doing and we mirror that. But if your child is growing up in front of a screen, those mirror neurons is not working. Then your child have no idea how to interpret someone's non-verbal cues. Your child have no idea how to regulate himself. My daughter, she's 21, and obviously I've been, I'm the Godzilla of screen time, but my own children obviously went through COVID on a screen. And last year, my daughter, first year university, 70,000 students at Tikkies. And she came to me and she said, "You know what, Mom? You're not allowed to say, I've told you so, but I'm going to say something. She said, I have no clue how to make a friend. I've got 3,000 friends on TikTok and Instagram and wherever, but I have no clue with 70,000 students how to walk up to one and say, good day, my name is Kristen. Do you want to have a coffee with me? You know, very interestingly, in a couple of years ago, China started with these, they have these holiday camps. And one of the holiday camps that they had in China was to teach children nonverbal communication and emotional intelligence. And one of the things that they did with these camps in China is that they were sitting children in front of each other. All right? And then they will say, all right, be happy. Then the one child must smile and the other child must learn to read facial expressions. They have no clue how to read facial expressions because they were on a screen growing up. But then again, I must ask you, what are you modeling with regards to your screen time? And it's so true, every single one talked about connection. Every single one talked about engagement. Your phone is giving a child entertainment. It's short-lived. It's not engagement. The problem is, and this is where the enemy was very, very clever. You must understand it's an antichrist spirit that is working through media. Everything that is working through the media is taking your child away from God. So it's an antichrist spirit. So your child feels connected online. Your child feels like I am part of a society online. Your child feels like, listen, but I belong. Where in fact, that child is in such a prison of isolation. Because this is exactly what your screen is doing. It isolates you. How many of you will say to me, this child gets home, they will go to the bedroom, close the doors, close the curtains, and be on the phone the rest of the day? Do you know what your child is doing online? Who are they talking to? They are talking to strangers. You know how many times I've worked with cases where adult men rocked up at a child's house where the child have sent the location to a friend. How many children have been stolen? Do you know where these human traffickers get the children? Online. Or maybe what you've posted online. It's a huge problem. I work with this every single day of my life. I stay in the northwest in Hartbeespoort. Last year, a policeman said to me, in the Brits area, there disappears almost 20 children a month. Gone. And these predators probably found these children online. So, children are suffering from anxiety, depression, self-harm and related disorders at levels higher than any other generation for which we have data. We see the boys specifically, I don't know why the girls, but the boys is what they see, a failure to launch, meaning that these boys have no ambition to finish school, no ambition to study after school. They are happy in their mom's houses, gaming, where mom will do the washing, do the cooking, and they can game. There's a huge decline in math, reading, and science. They are less likely to get jobs as teenagers, and there's a massive surge in loneliness and friendlessness. And then research at the end of the day have in fact proven that your phone is causing the anxiety. Because a lot of them initially would have said, yeah, but isn't the child maybe predisposed? Was the child maybe not depressed and he was pulled to a screen and now, this child is suffering from depression? No. And I'm not going to go into the research and into the science of this, but the phone is causing anxiety. It is causing depression. It is causing eating disorders. I've worked with the mom and the dad, and then the child have committed suicide, 11 years old, 12 years old. It breaks my heart because a child have no concept that death is final. If your child is on a gaming platform, your child would probably be on Discord. Discord have a whole movement where children say to each other, why don't you just kill yourself? Some of these children actually go kill themselves. I had one dad, and to this day, it shook me to my core. I will never forget this dad. He was broken. He said, and those of you, go and watch this series on Netflix, Adolescence. Go and watch it. At the final season, that mom said, he was a good kid. And the mom said, we should have done more. And that dad gave this boy a phone. He was 12 years old. And the dad said he was a good kid. There was no reason for me not to give this child a phone. He played soccer. His academics were good. He was a good kid. And the dad bought him a phone. But what the dad didn't do, the dad wasn't involved in this child's digital world. This dad didn't saw what he was doing online. And that boy committed suicide by using his bedding, his blanket, tied a noose and hung it on a tree and died. And this boy Googled, how does prisoners commit suicide? And this dad said to me, the same phone I gave this child, he used to kill himself with. How can I ever forgive myself? You cannot give a child a phone and walk away. When you ask your child, how was your day? The second question should be, how was your digital day? Who did you talk to? Who did you meet? What did you see? What's going on the WhatsApp groups? So many stories I can tell you. So yes, social media platforms are designed. Our children are emotionally unwell, socially isolated, unhappy, scattered, and tired. The effect on the spirit man is severe. And that's why your average or your normal rehabilitation centers does not work. That's why your psychiatric hospitals for this type of addiction doesn't work, because they address the brain, they address the addiction, they address the soul part, but what about the spirit? Pornography is a profound wound on the spirit. By taking the phone away, it's one thing. What about the wound? These types of wounds doesn't heal over time. You have to address these wounds. You have to talk about these wounds. You have to get counseling and mentorship and coaching for these wounds. It doesn't just heal itself. And then AI and pornography make them even more confused. So this is just statistics to show you. Remember I said in 2010 something profound happened with the iPhone 4 coming out with a front-facing camera. Worldwide, we see 134% increase in anxiety, 106% increase in depression, ADHD, bipolar disorder, anorexia. It is the one thing that I've never been successful in treating is a child with the eating disorder. It's horrible to see a child wasting away because of Instagram. And I'm going to show you how Instagram is doing it. So why is social media not smart? Can I tell you, there's a reason why in Australia they have said it is illegal for a child to be on social media under the age of 16. America, most of the states in America is pushing for legislation children to have a social media limit from 16 and up. Some stage is saying 18. But the social media platforms take no responsibility because there is a button that says, I am actually 16. But now, for us in South Africa, the average age restriction of social media is 13. Now, I've worked with children that are 6 years old, 7 years old, then they have a TikTok profile. My question is to the mom and dad, how is your 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 10-year-old on TikTok? Answer me this. If the age restriction of Call of Duty is 18, why is your 10-year-old playing Call of Duty? If Grand Theft Auto with prostitution and women abuse and sex club and strip clubs, why is your 10-year-old playing Grand Theft Auto? Where are you? Because one day, you are going to stand in front of God, and you are the one giving an account of your child's life. And you know what is not going to stand in front of God? I did not know. He will not be happy, trust me, with that answer. But awareness alone is not going to fly. If you are not committed to change, awareness is not going to help you. You must be committed to change. Walking away today, now you know, all right, now you know, how are you going to change things? So, the minimum age for social media is 13. On social media, children see a distorted view of reality. Social media exaggerates a child's tendency to focus solely on themselves, and social media pushes children into risky behavior. What is these 3 risks of social media? I call it the 3 C's. It's a content risk, a conduct risk, and a contact risk. And the biggest problem with your child being on social media is if your child comes in contact with porn. The other day, I spoke to a boy. He was referred to me for counseling, and he's a grade 8 boy. And one of the standard questions that I ask these boys is, do you watch pornography? Initially, I lied about it, and then he came back afterwards and he said, listen, I need to tell you, I am actually, in fact, watching porn like almost daily. But he have a screen monitoring app on his phone. So I asked him, but how do you get access to porn if there is a family link or a screen time on your phone? He said, I go on Instagram. So if you have a screen monitoring app on your phone, you will get the notification of Instagram. But Instagram is a backdoor to porn. The other day, I had a boy saying to me, again, also have a screen time monitoring app on his phone. And he said, you know what, Mum? If you go on Google Maps and you search strip clubs, your dad gets the notification of Google Maps, but strip clubs will get you into pornography. Do you know that 60% of teenagers have a second phone? So they will easily hand in the first phone. They will easily let you have a screen time monitoring app. They will easily say, okay, I'm happy with 1 hour a day screen time. That's also why your technology in your house, your router must be updated. You must have a proper router in your house, because the moment a foreign device connects on your router, you will get a notification a foreign device has connected to your router. And please, do not say, not my child. Please do not say, we are a Christian family. We pray together. The other day, a mom said to me, 13-year-old girl, she was sending nudes to the boyfriend. Actually, not the boyfriend, a complete stranger. She thought it was her boyfriend, but he was a complete stranger. And the mom was crying, and she said, I did everything possible to protect this child. I was involved in this child digital life. I had screen time monitoring apps on. I limited the screen time. We talked about it. We prayed about it. I did everything that I could. She said to me, you know one thing that I did not keep into account. She said, my child's own sinful nature. That you should keep in mind. You must still understand. The Bible never changed. The enemy still come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And then the Bible is clear. It says, do not be ignorant about the schemes of the devil. Do not be ignorant about what your child is doing online. If you have a boy, and this boy is on his screen, and this boy is taking the phone into the bedroom, and taking the phone into the bathroom, and showering for an hour, and changing screens the moment you walk in there, please do not be ignorant. Then you go check. And if he doesn't want to give the phone to you, then you take the phone. If your child have a password on the phone, and you as a mother or the father does not know what that password is, go check. You are the one accountable. Because you are the one who gave the phone. You are the one buying the data. You are the one paying for the Wi-Fi. You are the one who's the owner of that phone, not your child. So, conduct risk is your child's own conduct online. Maybe your child is the bully. Maybe your child is the one sending porn to his friends. Maybe your child is the one generating the adult porn. And then contact risk is when your child comes in contact with a bully or a predator or identity theft. A lot of dangers. TikTok, if there is one app that you say a definite no to, is TikTok. It is probably the most horrible app there is. I say to children when I speak to them, it's like taking a sewer pipe, a toilet pipe, and plug it into your brain, and that garbage is getting dumped. Hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of absolute nonsense. And within the first 30 days of your child opening up a TikTok account, your child will get images of suicide, self-harming, eating disorders for a fact. It's how the algorithm is set up. Again, we've talked about Instagram or Thinstagram and how it fuels an eating disorder epidemic. TikTok dares, I'm going to run through this quickly. We see a lot of TikTok dares because a child's, prefrontal cortex is not fully developed. They have no clue that this is dangerous. This specific dare was a dare where the children had to inhale the content of an aerosol can. So they filmed that, they put it on TikTok, and then they say, listen, do the dare. This girl, she inhaled the content of an aerosol can, her heart went into cardiac arrest, and she was declared brain dead. This dare also, this is running in schools. Children is standing 3 in a row. The one in the middle have to jump up. The 2 on the side kick out the legs from under them. Fall, crack their skull, break their neck. Porridge dare, you fill your mouth with porridge and you swallow the milk, suffocating from that as well. Deepfake technology, AI technology, deepfake filters is what children are using on a mass scale. We get a lot of deepfake filters. The one that we see children are using is an app that they call Nudify. So you will take a picture of the teacher, you put it through a Nudify app, and your teacher is butt naked. Taylor Swift was a victim of this app where they took her face and they posted on a brutal porn movie. Where Taylor Swift said, if I did not see this image for myself, this video for myself, and knew for a fact it wasn't me, I would have not been able to tell the difference. They spread this video on X 43 million times in 20 minutes, where the only way to take Taylor Swift's porn movie off the internet was to delete the name from the internet. So now, children are not understanding that this is a crime. And I want to show you with a short video how criminals are using AI technology to blackmail you, to blackmail children. And if the children does not know that, listen, they can come to mom and they can come to dad and ask for help, the end is suicide. And what is amazingly, shockingly, what is happening with these children is live stream suicide. Where one of the things that they blackmail these children saying, all right, if you cannot pay the money, I want you to do 1, 2, and 3. One of the things that I want the children to do is to commit suicide real time on a live stream video. All right, and I just want to say before you press play, there's one swear word, like a brutal swear word. They say the F word. But I want you to see it so that you can understand just how gruesome and how brutal this technology is. Thank you.
Hey Mom, hey Dad. It's me, Ella. Well, a digital version of me. Just a bit older. Amazing what technology can do these days, isn't it? All you need are a couple of pictures, like the ones you share on social media, where they can be taken and used by everybody. I know, for you these pictures are just memories. But for others, they are data. And for me, maybe the beginning of a horrible future. A future where my identity can be stolen just like that. Where I can go to prison for things that I would never do. Imagine my credit score being destroyed, Dad. Or my voice copied to scam you, Mom.
Mom, I'm in trouble.
I need you to send me money, please. I don't want to become a meme, humiliated by everyone at school.
Kill yourself, you fucking loser.
And I certainly don't want this. What you share online is like a digital footprint that will follow me around for the rest of my life. I'm telling you this because I know you love me and would never do anything to harm me. So please, Mom, please, Dad, protect my virtual privacy.
And this is happening in our country. We have whole syndicates, millions. They call themselves the Yahoo Boys. And this is what they do 24/7, is that they are stealing images from your social media profile, nudify them, send them back to you and say, if you don't pay me 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, I'm going to send this to everyone. Teenage filters, where children goes on dating apps, and then they think they are talking to an adult their age, where AI technology can adjust these images where your child is actually talking to a pedophile. We had this case, 2 years ago in Durban, where this girl met someone online, went to meet this guy, she was brutally raped and murdered. Please, again, like I say, do not be ignorant about this. And cyberbullying and suicide is an absolute pandemic where children are committing suicide today. And think about your own childhood. Do you know of one child who committed suicide as when you grow up? No. In 2023, we had researched the statistics that 350 children committed suicide in South Africa. 80 was in the Gauteng area. 80. Youngest child, 11 years old. I had a dad once in Polokwane, and his child was completely addicted to gaming, single dad. And when the child was, so the school will phone the dad and say, listen, your son is aggressive, or your son refused to do homework. And then as a form of punishment, the dad will take the phone as just like I say, as a way just to try to manage this child's behavior. But every single time when the dad took the phone, the child will literally break down the house in search for this phone. And when he got the phone, he will be happy and online. And so one day it happened again. The dad took the phone, hid the phone, and the child broke down the house in search of this phone. And the dad was there, and it was a whole commotion. And at some stage, this child flipped the dad's mattress. But under the dad's mattress was his gun. And the child grabbed the gun and he put it against his head and he said to this dad, give me my phone, or I will shoot myself. Threatening the dad. And then the gun went off, and this boy shot himself for a phone in front of the dad. This is my world. This is what I work with. This is why I travel. I go to Zimbabwe, I go to Botswana. This is my life. So it's not happening overseas. It's not happening in America. It's happening here in our schools, in our fancy schools. So then again, pornography, like I say, it's probably the biggest problem that we see. Even if you search something like if you Google something like Disney princesses, you will come across pornography. So Roblox currently is probably the biggest place where children come across porn. So please, please, please do not think that Roblox is a Lego game. Roblox is a platform where other people can develop on Roblox. They have what they call condo games. And these other people are developing, again, sex houses, steam baths, strip clubs, and you think that your child is playing Roblox. It is the biggest platform for pedophiles and predators, is the Roblox platform. I'm going to skip this video, but I've got 8 minutes left. Will you play this video as well, please?
Hey, Cooper.
Hey.
As an online safety expert, what's one video game you'd never let your kid use?
Grand Theft Auto.
What's one video game you would never let your kid use?
Probably Roblox right now.
What's one video game you'd never let your kid use?
Fortnite.
What is one video game you would never let your kid use?
Roblox.
Hey, Holly.
Hi.
What's one video game you wouldn't want your kid to use?
Roblox.
What's one video game you'd never let your kid use?
I'd probably say, well, it's not a video game, but I would say Discord, probably.
What's one video game you'd never let your kid use?
Grand Theft Auto.
So yes, do you know what video game your child is playing? Do you know the age restriction of the video game? Do you know what your child gets exposed to? Do you know who your child is talking to when he is playing online? Again, with these swear words. She talked about the swear words, where the mom and the dad will say, I have no clue where this child heard this type of language. If your child is a gamer, that is where your child learned this language. Because your 8-year-old or your 10-year-old is not playing with 8-year-old or 10-year-old. The average age of gamers is 43 years old. Your 10-year-old is playing with a 40-year-old male. They don't care that there is an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old on the platform. So, also again, sex predators found children online. This is a case where a boy was groomed for 2 years. He could not afford skins, and in exchange for money to buy skins, he has sent nude images of himself to this predator. Pornography, how children gain access to porn is different. For me, in my career so far, the biggest platform where children have in fact found porn was completely by accident. On an older brother's phone, on a WhatsApp group, by accident on this gaming platform, by accident on YouTube. Do you know what your children are watching on YouTube? Do you know the level of porn movies on YouTube? So I just want to show you this image where I say it's scientifically proven. The yellow image is a healthy brain. The image is to show you the brain damage of heroin, and that brain to the right is the brain damage of a brain on porn, where you could literally see on a brain scan how this damage is being done. You know that they've took an image of a person who is addicted to heroin, and they took an image of a person who is addicted to the screen, and they compare these two brain scans with each other, where you cannot tell who is the digital addict and who is the heroin addict. That's where the word digital heroin comes from. Where they've proven your child's brain on a screen is shrinking. The gray matter and the white matter of the brain is shrinking. And they are saying they are not sure if brain damage that looks like this can be restored. They don't know, it's too early. That's why I'm saying your child is an experiment. By giving your child a phone, they have no clue what is going to happen with your child in the future. AI, virtual reality, these are still coming. So we've not seen the worst yet. We have seen the beginning of this tsunami. And the people who should be accountable for this are not accountable. So at the end of the day, it is up to you as mom and dad. Because some major countries have legislation protecting the children. We don't have legislation yet. Legislation is a solution. Sweden, they have legislation for schools, for example, where it's illegal to take a phone to school. Denmark, it's illegal to give a child a phone under the age of 13. China, it's illegal to game after 8 o'clock at night. Australia. Why did Donald Trump switch off TikTok? Have you think about that? Because he wants to be rebellious? No, because he knows. So, rewiring of a phone-based childhood, social deprivation, sleep deprivation, fragmentation of attention and addiction. It's come from the book from Jonathan Haidt, The Anxious Generation. It's a bit expensive, the book. You can only buy it online, but if you're really, really interested, go and get yourself this book. So social deprivation, we've talked about this. The average child there, I'm saying, gets up to 189 notifications a day. So they are constantly online, thinking I have an online friend, but actually they are not learning any social skills. They are saying today that IQ is not important for a child's success in future. EQ is important. If your child is on a phone, they are not learning any EQ. The promise of connectivity. This is not even a Christian magazine, and it says adults have allowed the dismantling of a secure base of attachment. The need for connection, support, and nurturing remains unfulfilled, resulting in a mental, emotional, and spiritual health crisis. Some articles are saying we are creating psychotic junkies. My question is, if you know that the phone is as addictive as heroin or cocaine, and you are the one giving the phone, buying the data, paying for the Wi-Fi, who's the drug pusher in your house? You are. Sleep deprivation. So the problem with sleep deprivation, it looks like serious mental health disorders, but children are not sleeping anymore. So if the average teenager is online 9 hours a day, and they are in school and they have extracurricular activities, where do they get the 9 hours? They do not sleep. So the blue light of the phone breaks down the melatonin in your body, and without melatonin, you do not have a day-night rhythm. So if you eventually do say to this child, you will sleep now, they cannot fall asleep. If you allow a device in the bedroom, they are not sleeping, they are on their devices. I've got countless of testimonies where children are telling me, I go to bed, but then I'm playing Roblox. An hour and a half before bedtime, you must take all the devices, charge it in the bedroom or charge it in a study. Do not allow any digital device. No PlayStation, no Xbox, no TV, no nothing in a child's bedroom. And then the fragmentation of attention. And this is the number one reason why all the first world countries have taken phones away from schools. It is scientifically proven. Your child cannot study from a device. The handbooks on the devices in all the first world countries is now back to hard copy textbook, pen and paper. And what are we doing? We are rolling out the tablets. We are rolling out the handbooks. That's why you have to say, listen, can I please have a hard copy handbook? You go back to pen and paper. And then behavioral addiction, at the end of the day, it is also proven that it is in the exact same way that you get addicted to nicotine or drugs or gambling, you get addicted to your screen. And this again is a whole study on its own. Unsupervised digital media will harm your child. Phones are designed to be addictive. Social media is not so social. There's no such thing as multitasking. Please don't let your teenager tell you that I am listening to music while I am studying. It is physically, scientifically impossible to do that. Your phone is changing your brain. Your phone is killing your attention span. Your phone messes with your memory. Your phone is interfering with your sleep. Your phone is making you more stressful. And your phone is making you less satisfied. Just waiting for that. All right, so what now? What can I leave you with? So a very, very good resource for you if you are unsure of a game, of an app, go to a website. It's a Christian website with the name of Common Sense Media. So if your child is playing Roblox, for example, go to Common Sense Media, put in the search bar Roblox, and they will tell you everything that you need to know. Bark, also a good website. And if you are thinking that maybe your child must have been exposed to porn and you see the symptoms and porn is a session on its own, go to the website Protect Young Eyes. It's a very, very good resource also to train you and teach you how do you talk to a 5-year-old about pornography. The best tracking app is Live 360. The best monitoring app that you can put on your phone is an app with the name of Bark. It's worldwide renowned as the best app. It's a paid-for app. It is applicable for South African phones, but there's a lot of the free apps as well. Family Link, Screen Time, Net Nanny. Go and see. There's a lot that works with Android phones and Apple phones. You can see for yourself. No smartphones before high school. It's a question I get often. What age must my child be to give my child a phone for the first time? You wait until they go to high school. A primary school child does not need a phone. Don't let them tell you that they need a phone. They don't. When I was in school, and when you were in school, ons het 'n tannie in die kantoor gehad. There was a secretary in the office. So when netball is cancelled or when the bus is late, guess what? They do have your cell phone number. They will phone you to say, listen, the bus is late. Or you know what, your child have left the lunchbox. And if your child have left the lunchbox, you know what? It's maybe a good idea for them to learn from that. Because you did it. When it was cold and you left your jersey at home, you freezed for the day. Wasn't it true? Next time you've learned the lesson, listen, I must remember my jersey. One winter, I had to go without shoes. After the third pair of shoes, school shoes I've lost, my mom said to me, I'm not going to buy you any school shoes. Let these children learn. You're running after them because they have a phone and they phone you for everything. It's nonsense. Then the next thing is you should wait until 16 before you allow the internet. So when you do give your child a phone at 14, you give them a dumb phone. So they can phone you and they can SMS you, but they have no access to the internet. Declare technology-free zones. another study on its own by just what it means to children to eat dinner together. There's so many studies saying that children who eat dinner together as a family have a higher success in passing university, have a higher success in not getting a divorce one day, choosing the right partner in life by just eating dinner together. There must be areas in your house where you say, listen, all devices are switched off. That means yours as well. In the car, switch it off. Have a conversation with your child. How was your day? How did it go with your math test? Are you and your friend still angry? Have a conversation with your child. Switch off the devices. No Wi-Fi devices in the bedroom, and if possible, switch off the router at night. No social media until 16. Monitor screen time. A child under the age of 2, no screen time. You cannot give a baby a phone, ever. You cannot have a child in front of a screen as a babysitter. From the age of 2 until 5, you can give them about 20 minutes assisted screen time. Primary school child, 1 hour a day. High school child, 2 hours a day. Max. On weekends, you can give them again, if it's a primary school child, 1 hour again in the morning. Let them play outside. And maybe, as a reward for good behavior, you can give them another 30 or 40 minutes. Holidays should be screen-free holidays. Go visit grandma. Go on a camp. But what does it mean? It means connection and interaction and engagement from you as a parent. Some parents are lazy for their children. I'm sorry to say that. Because in front of your screen it's convenient. You don't have to talk. You don't have to entertain. You don't have to go kick the ball. You don't have to color in because they are invisible behind their screens. And that brings back some responsibility from us as parents. Protect your child's privacy and identity online. Say no to Snapchat and TikTok. No talking to strangers. Your child can choose 3 applications from which to receive notifications, mute or delete the rest. No passwords on the phone. We talked about this. Less than 200 friends on any application. Social media accounts should be private. You should talk about your children about bullying, cyberbullying, like it's a session again on its own. But one thing that the children are doing, teach them not to delete the bullying message but take a screenshot. Because they delete the messages and then there's no evidence to help them. Pornography, teach them to run away, walk away, tell an adult, speak to your child because your child will come across porn. And then regular check-ins and conversations with your children about what they are up to online. Be a digitally involved parent. Everyone, thank you so much. So there is my contact details. You are so welcome to contact me, email me, WhatsApp me. I also did bring the book, The Digital Dilemma. I do have copies of the book here. So everything that I did say today is in the book and so much more. It's a Christian book where just how the Lord have taught me over these years. Jamie's New Friend is a children's book from the age of about 4 or 5 to about 10, 11, talking to children about digital world. It is a story for them. Unfortunately, I don't have the English version here, only the Afrikaans version, but both these books are available online. And then also, I have partnered with this lady from Funky Fing. So for some of you, I know a lot, especially parents who have children are using public transport or taxis where they say, listen, but my child I need to have contact with my child. Something like the smartwatch is also very helpful because then it's a tracking device. You can talk to your child can phone you, but it have no access to the internet. So everyone, thank you.